Hello and welcome to my lounge room, which we have finally done. We've got our couch that took 7 months to arrive, and it's nice to be able to, after painting the house or doing whatever we've been doing to it, to at the end of the day, just relax on the couch. It just feels so cozy now, which I love, and I will have to do an update soon, but the house has just completely changed so much over the course of almost a year, but it's taken us so long to get to this point. Anyway, today's video is about these, my Natasha Denona palettes that I have not touched in years, which is really sad because I'm holding thousands of dollars worth of palettes right here, which is absolutely crazy to me. How much I spent on makeup in the past and don't use it anymore. Like that foundation video, it's kind of part of this series where I am slowly going through my collection and rediscovering, playing, and just experimenting with some makeup that is in my collection and has not been touched or enjoyed. But before I get started, I want to say thank you to Luisa, who is sponsoring today's video. They've sent me 3 earrings, which are one of their favorite things from Luisa. I actually love their earrings more so than their rings and necklaces because I am definitely more of a earring person than someone that wears rings. They've sent me these little cute bauble earrings in silver. I have the gold version of these earrings and I absolutely wear them to death. Really great everyday earrings because they're just simple and not fussy and they go with everything. So depending on what hardware I'm wearing that day, if I'm wearing gold, if I'm wearing silver, I will tend to match my jewelry. Not always, but most of the time I'll do that. Those are those ones. I like them for every day. And they are called the Mini Abbey silver earrings. They actually look very similar to the ones by Aid, that German brand that does shoes, but obviously at a much greater cost. I think these ones are less than $100 if I'm not mistaken, which I think is a really great price point. They also sent me a pair of these chain earrings. They're called the Lyra earring. They're definitely more of a statement earring, which I think is fun for like a night out or something, or in some sort of occasion. A little bit more of a statement. But there's something about the link design that I do like. Now that we're going out more, we've got more events to go to, weddings, things like that. And then lastly, these snake earrings. I do like that these snake earrings are on the smaller side. I tend to prefer, for an everyday earring at least, to wear earrings that are smaller scale rather than larger, because I feel like they tend to just get like in the way of wearing a mask, for example. They tend to just work, I feel like, better with most of the things I wear, which, you know, sometimes can already be a bit of a statement. So I like to kind of make my earrings not necessarily stand out, but be a little bit more refined. But if I am, you know, doing a more simple outfit, I will maybe opt for something that is bigger and a bit more loud and do something that is a larger scale. But on an everyday basis, I do like having something that's just a little bit more smaller on the ear and then more comfortable as well. That's what I do like their jewelry for. They just make really great everyday wearable jewelry. And again, all their packaging, it's just simple, small, in a pouch. So you can take this and travel with it if you need to. Pop it in there. It's not gonna get damaged or anything, which I like. I like that they've thought about how we can actually transport them, especially now that we're in between 2 houses. It's nice to have something like that to use. So I'm gonna put these one back on because I think I like these ones the most. Again, I just love the simplicity of it. So yeah, check them out. I'll leave a link in the description bar below, as well as the links to all these earrings that I'm wearing. On the website, they have heaps of different styles to appeal to lots of different kind of style personalities. So whether you like something a little bit more understated, whether you like something that's a bit more statement and patterned and colorful, they've got that sort of type of earring as well. Thank you again to Luisa for sponsoring my video. And you know, they would be here if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you to all of you who are still watching my little space in the internet. And let's get into the video. Tom is tinkering in the background, so there's noise if you hear it. So I've got these 3 small Natasha Denona palettes. Do you remember them? One is the holiday palette, and I haven't used it very much. Then we've got the gold palette, which I love. I love the look of this palette. And then this is another holiday palette in Joya. which I don't know, I just don't tend to wear a lot of burgundies. So this is a palette that I haven't really used very much. And I actually date all my palettes, so I know exactly when I got them. These are from October 2017, October 2019, so they're pretty old. We have the Tropic palette, which looks like this. This one is from March 2018. In theory, I love these colors. I just don't wear them. The Star palette, which is definitely one of the older palettes from her. I don't think this is a palette that's available anymore. This is what it looks like. A lot of colors in here I love though. Like this color, absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Really nice kind of duochrome with this reddy clay base. Probably not the smartest idea to wear white in this type of video, but anyway. We've got the Sunrise palette, June 2019. Love the colors in here, especially the oranges and the corals. Gold palette, October 2018. And I believe I did a 10 looks with this palette. If there's any videos I did using these palettes, I will put them in the cards in case you want to see me use them. And I did actually come to really love this palette. The Sunset palette, June 2017. That's what that one looks like. A lot of warm tones, and I'm definitely a warm tone girl. We have the Lila palette, September 2017. And again, don't wear purples too much. And then the OG Natasha Denona palettes. These are the ones I got first. February 2016. If you can recall, these were very, very expensive palettes. We're talking $300 US, something crazy like that. But didn't stop me from buying them. I think this was kind of like at that point of time when I was spending a lot of money on makeup. This is the kind of thing I was buying. And honestly, as beautiful as this is, I just do not use it. I mean, I definitely think that you can see a lot of similarity in these palettes from the other ones that she's got. I don't even know what I want to do, but basically today I've got a pretty blank base and I'm just gonna put them on my face. So let's zoom in. I'm not really sure where to start, but I feel like we should start right at the beginning and start with one of the OG palettes. So I'm gonna use this one because it's just more up my alley. The metallics are gorgeous. I haven't got any primer, so I'm gonna wear them without primer, FYI. And just from memory, I think Natasha Denona eyeshadows don't necessarily last very well on me, so I do need a primer, but for the purpose of this video and showing you what it looks like on my eyes, I'm not going to be wearing a primer because I don't have one here. I'm gonna go in with Sienna, because that's a color that, just looks beautiful. With Natasha Denona eyeshadows, people would always go on about the metallics. So that's kind of why people bought her makeup. You know, when the price point is that high, you expect it to be really good. I feel like a lot of people were really disappointed. Some people loved it, but there were definitely people that didn't believe that the price of these eyeshadows were really worth it for the quality. And that's the thing with makeup. You can get really good makeup at a lot lower price point. That's Sienna all over the lid. I don't know, I feel like it definitely looks more impressive on my finger than on the actual lid, but let's build that up. I think with a glitter glue, something like this would pop a lot more. I would expect it to anyway. Let's blend it out a little. It doesn't really pack a huge punch though. I feel like I need something in my crease to just give a bit more definition. I think I'll go in with Umber, which is this one. Take it into the lower lash line too. What do you think? Very boring, I think. I don't think you can look at this eyeshadow and go, wow, that's a $500 eyeshadow palette that you've got on your eyes. I don't know, let's do some other colors on the other eye, because I feel like that was too boring. But this color, wow. And then maybe like a little bit of what am I doing? This is a kind of color it's fighting against my skin tone. I think this is just too frosty. I'm gonna add some Pinija. This color, this deeper green. To the inner corner too. That looks like shit. This is where I would need to add some mascara and maybe some eyeliner to kind of make that look a little less mad. But that is that palette. I think in retrospect, I'm kind of like, I don't think this is really worth the money. You know, I can get beautiful looks without having to spend this kind of money. You're not thinking about that at the time, of course. Oh my gosh, so much fallout. I didn't even see that. In the mirror, the makeup looks better than in the camera. Let's take that off moving on to another palette. I'm very curious to use the Tropics palette, the Tropic palette. I just do not remember using it very much. I really want to use that purple. Xena. I don't even know what to do with it. But I feel like nothing else really goes with this color in this palette. So it's kind of weird that it's in here. Can you see it? What else am I going to do with it though? I feel like brown is the expected choice. And then maybe some of the, I don't know, fake tan above that purple to ground it. I feel like as I'm adding that, it's taking away from that purple already. So I probably have to go back in with the purple. I have to say I'm not really impressed with how this is looking. Some brown on the lower lash line. Don't love this look. Don't rate it. Mind you, everything does look better with some mascara, with lashes. I mean, I definitely need a heap of concealer under here because this is so dark. Maybe I'll just go get some concealer. Does this look better? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't think the purple is a great purple, first of all. Now that the veil has been unlifted and I'm no longer kind of in the makeup realm as deeply as I was, I'm just not as impressed as I maybe was when I was in the hype of it all. For those of you who do use this palette, what are the colors that you are using? I'm gonna add a bit of mint frost on the inner corner. I feel like nothing is picking up on this brush. I feel like I need to maybe wet a brush or something. Okay, did that make it a bit better? Let's go in with Sahara, the one here. I'm gonna do Cocoa and Fake Tan, mix my brush in with both of them. I'm still not really enjoying this palette very much. Even trying to create something that I would wear for my life now. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why it was sticking to that point. I'm gonna do the blue on the lower lash line. Again, I feel like nothing is really picking up on my brush. I'm gonna put a little bit on the upper lash line too, actually. Do I hate this look? No, I don't. Is it the best ever? Can I recreate it with another palette? I think yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not impressed with this at all. I can't even remember what I thought of it when I initially got it, but I mustn't have liked it that much for it to stay in the drawer. These are the looks that I've created with the Tropic palette. The colors just did not pop and I really had to dig in to the pan with my brush to get pigmentation. And maybe it's the age of the palette too. I mean, this is 2018, you know, so you can't expect them to work as they once did. But I do have palettes that are that old, like for example my Pat McGrath palettes. Might not be 2018, is it? But I still actually use my Mothership palettes because I love that black in there, and the metallics are gorgeous. So if I never had to use this palette again, I wouldn't be sad about it. I'm gonna add something on the lips. I feel like I look dead. I feel like I at least look alive now. It's often what I do when I'm saving time in the morning. You know, I've only used 2 palettes so far and I'm already over it. So I might only do a few more because I feel like I have used quite a lot of these palettes on my channel already. And I really want to play with the ones I'm not as familiar with. So one of those ones is a Star palette, this one. I'm gonna add on top of what I've done already, actually. I'm gonna try and add some colors that I generally think look nice. So you've got Orion, which is kind of got this duochrominess to it. That's pretty. I think that is a really cool duochrome. I like that. I mean, I tend to like duochromes that have that kind of reddy clay base to them because I like the greeniness, that grunginess. I do enjoy those kind of duochromes. I have used them in the past. See, this is a color I could just take out of this palette and just put into my rotation, I feel. And I might just blend it out with Flesh, which is a matte. This one. And also a bit of Titania, which is the matte here. I think that looks cool. I like that. I'm gonna add a little bit of Polaris, which is this color here, on the inner corner. Wow. Oh wow, it's very glittery. Okay, maybe not the best inner corner highlight actually. There's too many glitter particles. Don't like that. I'm gonna rub it off. Now, what to do to salvage this side? I might actually add these burgundies. I just want to see what they're going to look like on the lid on top. Let's mix them in. Is that starting to look a little bit more intentional? Yes, I do think that actually looks a bit better. I think this frosty blue in a corner looks terrible though. Peachy tone would have been better, like this, which is Bellatrix. And that was that one here. That was that one that I just added onto the inner corner on top of the mint blue, which so now the mint blue has disappeared and we've got a different inner corner highlight. Much better. Okay, I'm much more happy with this. Overall looks now. Before the sun completely goes, I'm going to use maybe 1 or 2 more palettes, and that's the Lila palette. I feel like this palette is not a palette that I really reach for at all. Purples are really not in my comfort zone. If I go for a color, it would generally be maybe a blue or an orange. I don't necessarily think that I miss these palettes at all. Okay, we're starting with a blank canvas again. I think I'm gonna use this top row, I think, and maybe some of these colors over here. These purples really scare me, so might have to use that on the other eye. I'm gonna start with some Nude Vino. Just like a dusty mauvey color. I think I tend to avoid these colors because they can look just so... They make me look kind of dead and sick, because a lot of purples tend to be cool tone purples that don't work for my skin tone. So then I have to kind of balance it out with a brighter lip or something like that. I'm going to go in with Amra, which is that one here. I'm going to go with Cyclone, which is this red here. Which brings in a bit more light, which I need. I need something not so murky. This is pretty. This is a really pretty red. I reckon that red is going to look really nice on the lower lash line as well, so I'm going to add a bit of that underneath. Ooh, what do we think? I like that. Who would have thought I could create this look with the Lila palette, or Lila palette, however you pronounce it. That color here, gorgeous, really beautiful, which is here. It's got kind of like some pink flecks in it too. Okay, what else? Should I go for that purple that scares me? I feel like I should. I feel like that is what I need to do, and then I'm gonna call it a day, because now there's really very little sunlight left. If you guys are really enjoying this, seeing me play with some old makeup, let me know and I might do a part 2, because there's just so many Natasha Denona palettes that it's very hard to cover this in one sitting. So I've used Per Se here, which is that purple, that very, very grey toned. Okay, going to add Lila. I feel like that really, wow, it's really not picking up very much at all. Probably needed to use a glitter glue or something to make some of these metallics actually show up on my lid. That is just, did not pick up on the brush really. And actually it feels like it's kind of solidified in the actual pan. It doesn't feel soft and smooth anymore. It's not really applying very smoothly or evenly. This palette is 2017, so it's seen better days for sure. Gonna get with that purple with my finger, tap that over the top. So you see these purples are just so, it's just so outside what I would normally do. Might go in with a bit of this one, which is Livid. It's this one here. Add some different purples in there into the mix. I just don't think that's applying very well at all. I don't know, I think it's the age of this palette that is making it really tricky. This is exactly the kind of look that I don't really like on me. I think purples can be just really tricky to pull off for me. And for example, I have that beautiful Menagerie Cosmetics purple eyeshadow palette, and I do love that. But yeah, it's just a color that does scare me a little bit. So it's just not one that I reach for all that much. This palette is really too old, and it's clear to me that some of these colors are just not working the way that they probably were intended to. Like this one feels like there's a hard filament that's kind of set over top. and it's not really allowing the pigment to come through. So it makes it really difficult to pick up with a brush, and you probably need to pick it up with your fingers, which is what I did, but it doesn't then go over the eyelid smoothly. Let me zoom you back out and I will come back to my overall thoughts about how this whole process went. What did you guys think? How do you feel about these palettes if you have them at this current point? Do you currently still use your Natasha Denona palettes? Years and years later, how you feel about them now, are they the same as how you felt about them then? And what was your favorite look, or did you not like any of them? I do think that this was beautiful, and I think I managed to salvage the looks that I did with the Tropic palette, with the Star palette. And there definitely are colors within those palettes that I could see myself using as singles. It would be smart for me to probably extract them and put it in its own palette. And I think I might do that, because I think that that's probably why I don't use a lot of these palettes, is because the overall color story, I don't use all the colors. There might just be a few here and there that actually work, and that actually still work well, because it's clear that some of them have just not stood up to the test of time. I wasn't necessarily very impressed with some of the looks that came out of them. I think that you do not have to spend $300 on a palette to get a beautiful look. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't really spend that much money on a single eyeshadow palette. I think it really is too much for what it is, really. Essentially, there is a expiry or best before date, I should say best before, for eyeshadow palettes. And there is a point to which they just do not perform as well as they should. And that's the thing to remember as well when you're spending that amount of money. That's enough from me. Thank you again to Luisa for sponsoring today's video. As usual, I will put everything that I mentioned in the description bar below. And I hope you are all well wherever you are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye.